Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Where the 99 Leads. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and Where the 99 Leads refers to the historic 99 steps that lead to the University of Pikeville campus and also lead from campus back into the community. Special guest joining us today, Rob Music, campus chaplain at the University of Pikeville. Rob, welcome in.
Hey, thanks so much.
Always a pleasure to have you here. Also, UPike student Wes Rose joins us now.
Thank you, Andrew.
Wes, welcome. And before we go any further, let's talk about your background. Talk about where you come from and your academic major at UPike.
Sure. Well, I was raised in Pike County. I'm from a town most of us know, Elkhorn City.
Beautiful gateway to the breaks.
I joined the Marines right out of high school. I was there for 4 years. I got out last August and decided to come back home, and I took a semester off and went back to school in that January, that spring semester. And I got really interested in religion. I started as a biology major.
Sure.
And then I got really interested in Rob's class and just felt right, and it just clicked with me, and that's what I wanted to do.
So that's your academic major now?
Yep.
Very good. Quite a shift from biology.
Oh, yeah.
But I can imagine Rob Music's classes being educational, of course, but also entertaining and thought-provoking.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk more about that class as the show goes. Today we talk about, of course, a trip to Haiti, a mission trip to Haiti, and you were both part of a group of students and faculty that recently traveled to Jacmel, Haiti, to work with Praying Pelican Ministries. Rob, tell us about the group's mission.
Yeah, Praying Pelican is an organization designed for Americans who want to travel to developing countries. So they'll take thousands of people throughout the year, different places. And they have three focuses, because oftentimes these groups will come, they'll feel good about themselves for a week, and then off they go.
Right.
Well, these are designed to have genuine partnerships, number one, so people can make some relationships. But number two, it's really designed for long-term sustainability. So they find, let's say, a pastor in the community who already has a vision of something they want to do, but maybe lack the resources. So a group of Americans come along, able to give some supplies and help, build some relationships, and then together learn. Because I think the key for me, Praying Pelican is so helpful. They really help us understand that it's not this arrogant, I come to you because I've got all the answers. I'm actually the learner. I'm going to learn so much from you about how you do life, you express your faith. So it's a unique way to think about missions.
Sure. And Wes, why did you want to be a part of this mission trip? You spent time in the Marines. I would imagine you saw some things during those 4 years, but let's talk about why you wanted to be a part of this mission trip and the ministry.
Well, in the spring, I had the opportunity, again afforded by Rob, to go on my first mission trip. And that mission trip was based around the Alabama, Mississippi area.
Right.
We went to a kind of a rehabilitation center for people who have had addictions, and we got to work on the house of the director and the pastor of that rehabilitation community. We got to re-roof his house there, and I got to work very closely to some of the men that were part of the organization, and they really affected me and spiritually, and they affected the whole group. So I really liked that experience, and I wanted to experience again. And in the summer, well, actually before the summer, Rob told me about a class that he was going to start doing called Liberation Theology. And Liberation Theology is the a theological standpoint that says God has preferential treatment for the poor and the oppressed people. And the class was focused on Haiti, and the kind of capstone of the class was the trip to Haiti. And it really interested me to go see a developing country and be able to help those people.
Sure.
And kind of live with them for a week and get their perspective on things.
Right. You served our country as a corporal in the United States Marine Corps. First of all, thank you for your service to our country. But Wes, how does mission work compare to your time that you spent in the armed forces?
Well, it's a funny story. I tell everybody that I joined the Marine Corps to see the world.
Sure.
but I actually never got to really go outside of the United States.
Okay.
I spent a year in Florida, both sides of Florida, the Gulf Coast and the Jacksonville, Florida there.
Sure.
And then I spent 3 years in North Carolina.
Ah.
So it was kind of a
4 years, and I got to see the Southeast.
yeah. But I've always had a sense of adventure in me, and coming back home, I didn't think I was ever going to get to do anything else. But I got afforded the opportunity, and I jumped on ship.
Very good. And of course, Jacmel, Haiti, not the first trip to that location, Rob.
That's correct. Yeah, we went last year. We had been going to another place for a couple of years, but we wanted an area that matched our own. You know, rural access,
Sure.
Kind of a forgotten place. So through conversation with Praying Pelican, we kind of located an area that had a real dedicated pastor with a community that needed a school. So we said, man, that sounds like us. So this was our second year going there. And even this second year, again, we saw how much of parallel there is between our community and their community. Just talking to the local leaders, the pastor, the kids, it felt like coming home.
Very good. And Wes, let's talk about how the trip compared to your expectations before going.
Well, with the class, with the Liberation class, we began talking about what we could expect. I kind of had some previous expectations. The way you view a developing country, probably much different from your own. I knew that there would be trash laying around, and that expectation was unfortunately met. But before we left, I tried to drop all my expectations so I could get the real experience behind everything. Sure. And we got there. We got off the airplane. We got out of the airport, and it's really wild down there. There's no like traffic lights, and you just drive and you beep your horn if you're trying to pass someone, and that was a good experience. It's kind of around here, but not really.
A little bit, yeah. There's a complete disregard for traffic signals in our area and locations as well.
We got to the village where we were doing the ministry work, and the village is much different from the city that we had landed in. It's very, there's a sense of simplicity there that you don't get here, and you don't even get in the city. You see the simplicity in the area, and it really brings out the beauty of Haiti itself. You see the simplicity in the people too, and it makes you really humble.
Indeed. Talk about your experiences with the children and the Jacmel community.
Oh, the children are great. They're so eager to learn, and they're so eager to teach too. I really connected with a few kids, a few children in particular. One of them, his name was Billy. He was born with
He was born with a disability.
Right.
A hand disability.
Sure.
And he has some other complications too. He's the pastor's son, and he was always ready to play with all the other kids, ready to play soccer, everything. I took all kinds of pictures with him. He was always ready to take a picture.
Sure.
And the other kids, they were brothers and sisters, and they're just ready to play and ready to learn. They're so full of love.
Sure.
And they just want someone to love them back.
Simpler time, simpler life. And of course, Rob, you've led UPike students on several domestic and international mission trips, but there's something special about your trips to Haiti. Your mission there, very clear. You have a process. And tell us about how UPike is committed to bringing education to the children in the mountains of Jacmel, Haiti.
Right, I think you just said it the best. It really connects with our overall mission statement of our university. And now, because the world's so different than 1889, right, the world is flat, so the idea of rural access education, I think, connects Haiti. And the reason why the trip is so, I think, life-giving for us is we see, at the university, we see potential to kind of include all of our disciplines. I mean, this is more than just simply trying to build a school. It really is trying to tie in our various colleges, majors, in ways that they can participate in community development. Because persons there in Jacmel, has nothing to do with their ability. Oftentimes it has to do with access. And I know that was very much our story here in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. It was never about our people's ability. It was all about access. And now we have a unique opportunity. And I think the other thing is it's tangible. You can see how you're making a difference. And maybe that's a little selfish on my part, that you can start seeing difference. And we know that we're just beginning to scratch the surface of how education can be transformative. But our little university, we can make a difference in this community.
Sure. Rob Music, campus chaplain at the University of Pikeville. Wes Rose, a UPike student at our guest as well. And Rob, the area you travel to still struggles in recovery from the 2010 devastating earthquake that hit. First of all, how is the area recovering? How far along are they?
You know, they're doing pretty well. I mean, they didn't have much to lose in the first place,
Sure.
so there's part of that. Now, the city of Port-au-Prince, the airport, every time I go, you see major development. The unfortunate thing about Haiti right now, they're currently in a political battle. They've stopped elections multiple times. Today, the kids aren't even having school right now because of political violence. So everything I say is kind of TBA, because
Right.
they may be right on the verge of going backwards. But in the specific city where we're at, they're making good progress. They're beginning to develop. Now, the community where we're at, they still don't have electricity, and that's the one big thing. So the idea of they just cannot move forward without that electricity.
They had electricity in 2010?
No, they didn't actually have it, but there was beginning to make some developments in Haiti. Some
Sure.
political stability was happening, and then this devastation, the UN said, was the worst disaster they had ever seen.
Right.
And now it's like, so now, you know, Port-au-Prince and other places are getting all the attention, and of course, rural places are being forgotten.
Well, we can certainly relate to that.
Absolutely.
And of course, as we talk about that, meeting the educational needs of the children of Jacmel in Haiti, talk about what are some of the educational needs of the children of Haiti?
Let me give you a scenario. In this community where we work, 80% of the persons, so 8 out of 10 people, are unemployed. Now, the educational costs are typically $60 a semester. So even if a person has a job, let's say you have a good job, let's say you happen to be a teacher, your income is $100 a month. The typical wage for a person, 2 out of 10 who might work, is $5 a day. So if you have to pay $60 a semester, $120 a year, you just can't afford it.
Sure.
Let alone uniforms, books, supplies. So now what we have are children, specifically we're targeting a small pocket of this community where there are 80 kids who don't have access. We know that tangibly we can build a school for 80 kids, so we're just about there. And beyond simply giving kids a building, the second need is about nutrition. These kids come to school and they can't focus because they're starving.
Right.
And also we started a library this year. So those are a couple things we're starting to think about.
It seems that it's a little bit overwhelming to be able to make that change. How's progress been?
We're super excited. I'm super excited. We were able to put the roof on the school, and we are within striking distance. We think maybe in a month that the school will be finished and that they'll be holding class in that building, and we then will be able to see some pictures of hopefully purchasing desks and then beginning to really focus on building up that library. Because one of the things we talked about with Pastor Jude's our local partner there, is using the school after school for a way to teach literacy to some of the adults.
Sure.
Using these books.
Break the cycle.
Absolutely. Giving people access for the first time.
And let's talk about what the UPike team was able to accomplish this last time. You mentioned it's under roof now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that happened this trip.
It did. We were kind of halfway up, you would say, with walls. We were able to kind of work our way up. We leveled inside the classroom so we could start laying the floor, and then we were able to put up the roof. We also were able to kind of finish the estimate of what it was going to look like, to finish the windows, to finish the interior, and also then the actual numbers for the desks, the chairs, teachers' salaries, those type of things. So mainly we did wall work, roof work, and some laying of the flooring.
So it's fairly close. When do you expect it to be open and enrolling students?
My goal is no later than Easter, we will have this school done.
Very good. Students in place and we look forward to that. Talk about a typical day on the trip to Jacmel. Obviously working on the school, construction, things like that, interaction with members of the community, children as well. Talk about a typical day.
Well, we get up around 7 o'clock in the morning. I usually get up a little earlier because the lack of insulation, all the sounds of the community are right there. So you get up and you kind of slowly go into breakfast, and we're usually working around 8 o'clock. And the community will have gathered by that point. We'll have young kids, we'll have elderly people, we'll have young girls who come by to help us pass buckets of concrete. And you usually work until 8 to 12 or so. And by that time, it's time to rest, time to get a little lunch. And the Haitians are brilliant people. You don't work when it's 1,000 degrees. So
right.
Usually between 12 and 2, they slow down a little bit. And we might work a little bit more or go out into the community, kind of round up the kids. Because by 3 o'clock, we're going to start VBS. So we'll gather kids around this building, have Vacation Bible School, which looks like, typically crafts, story time, games. And then the sun goes down around 5:30 or 6, where we will then have dinner. And every evening we have kind of a group time where we process and reflect on our day.
Very good. Wes, what's it like to work alongside your friends, your fellow students, knowing the impact your work will have in that community, Jacmel?
Well, I actually got to take, well, he didn't take with me. We decided to go together. My best friend, his name is Kyle, and we really got to build a relationship spiritually together, and the whole group really bonded as one. Going back to school, we still talk to each other, all the group talks to each other, and some of these people I didn't know beforehand. And even in the class, me and Kyle were the only one that took the class, Liberation class, but everyone really got a sense of being able to live in solidarity with the Haitian people and feel how they feel for a week and kind of connect on a personal level with them.
Is this a trip you plan to repeat?
Oh yeah, if finances persist, I really would love to go back. I plan on going back. And also, if time persists, I'm a father of two daughters, so they're always on my radar. But I feel like I left a piece of my heart in Haiti.
Sure.
And I'm really connected and really invested in helping the Haitian people develop and be sustainable on their own.
Some unfinished business.
Oh yeah.
Wes Rose, UPike student, I guess today on this edition of Where the 99 Leads, along with campus chaplain Rob Music. Wes, you had the opportunity to spend with families in their homes in Haiti. First of all, for those that are tuned in, talk about a typical home in Jacmel.
Well, it's much different from what you think about a home is. There's no insulation. The windows, there's no glass. So it's kind of just a hole, a smaller hole, so the rain doesn't come in.
Sure.
In one of the homes that we went in, there was one bed, and there were 3 people living there. So deduction says someone's probably sleeping on the floor.
Right.
And we also got to go in the home of some ill and elderly members of the community. And it was really a real spiritual time for all the group, because we got to kind of bless the home and pray for the individuals. And one individual, she couldn't talk to us, but really felt the power in the room, and it's a real overwhelming feeling.
Indeed. Talk about how you were able to communicate with the Haitian people, since the only language they speak is Creole.
Like I said before, the children are very eager to learn, and they're also very eager to teach. So they'll point at anything, any object,
yes,
and they'll say in English, and you'll tell them in English, and then they'll repeat in Creole, this is what it is in
very
Creole.
Good.
And my future plans are kind of become more linguistic, and specifically with my religion. My religion degree, learned Greek and Hebrew, so language is always something that I've been interested in, and but communication is really hard until you start to get a hang of it, and you kind of pick up on subtleties within the two languages.
Sure.
Even Creole incorporates English words, so sometimes it's easier than others.
Very good. Rob, volunteers provide the manual labor for the construction of the building in Haiti, but you and the students are working here even at home to raise money needed to complete the project. Fundraising, of course, plays a large role in getting students into the school as well. If someone's tuned in, tell us how we could be involved in helping with the fundraising, making donations.
Right. Number one, I would say, excuse me, I would say pray, because I know that the finances are available, and but also a very tangible gift, right? They can give via the university. You know, we have an online way. They can make a direct call to me, and we can talk about specific funds for sponsorship. I know some people, if you're like me, we want to know really what our money goes for.
Sure.
So that might look like sponsoring a teacher, or once a month sponsor of a teacher, a sponsor of a student. Maybe you want to buy a desk in honor of a loved one.
Sure.
Who's passed. So all of those ways, and really we can be as creative with their gift as they want. So there are ways to finish it, but the main thing would be, you know, you give through the university, contact me, and honestly, any from $1 to as big as you can write on a check,
right,
we will take, because it all goes towards such a great cause.
Sure, and that's completing the construction project and the school in Jacmel, Haiti. Wes, you plan to return to Haiti. What about other mission trips in your future?
Honestly, it's my plans are to do what I can, where I can, and if the opportunity is afforded me, I would love to go anywhere.
Very good. Rob, if someone would like to be involved in the mission work at UPike, tell us how to contact the Spiritual Life Office.
Right, call me 218-5762 or email me at robertmusic.edu, and that'd be a great way. I would love to take you to lunch. I'd love to bring somebody up on the hill and talk about ways they can get involved, but also just kind of throw this out here to a local church or a community. Maybe they want to think about doing their own trip. I'd love to talk to them. We've been doing this for a while now, sure, some things we've learned. I'd love to come out to your community and just kind of talk and share and learn with you, so reach out to me.
Absolutely. Changing one community in Haiti, just a few mission trips put together and changing that community for a long, long time with the building of the school there in Jacmel, Haiti. I love to hear the stories. I would love to be a part of a trip sometime in the future, and possibly that will work. But again, we want to encourage people. If you've heard something today and you'd like to be a part of this ministry through the University of Pikeville, to make a donation of funds to finish the school there, fund a desk, fund a teacher, fund a student, get in touch with Rob Music, campus chaplain. Rob, always great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Wes Rose, good luck in your future, and we enjoyed hearing your story as well. Thanks for being with us. You've been tuned to Where the 99 Leads, a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, the leading university of Central Appalachia. Thanks for tuning in.